Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. I'm thrilled you're here, and if this is your first time tuning in, a very warm welcome to you too. Today we're diving into a subject that's been echoing across fan pages, forums, and even the whispery corners of backstage chatter. It's a phrase that has the fandom buzzing, a headline that keeps popping up in captions and comments: Gökberk Yıldırım's eternal love revealed. Yes, that's the phrase, the one lighting up timelines and sparking late-night debates. What does it really mean? Is it a soul-bearing confession, a poetic strategy for a new project, or simply the screen's chemistry refusing to stay on set, especially when Cemre is part of the story? Fasten in, because we're going all the way down the rabbit hole today. Before we step into the heart of it, a quick reminder. If you love smart, sensitive deep dives into the world of Turkish dramas, rising stars, and the romances that keep us enthralled, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Turkish Spotlight Secrets is where we unpack the mysteries with heart and curiosity. Now, let's get into the glow and shadow that make this story so compelling. Say the name Gökberk Yıldırım, and watch the montage play in your mind. Eyes that read like a confession, a voice that can drop from a laugh to a hush, roles that swing between stormy and tender. Over time, he's become the crush, the confidant, the actor who brings heat and humanity to every scene. The public image is both polished and warm, a magnetic presence that doesn't fade when the camera stops. Pair that with the steady grace and luminous composure of Cemre, and you have a duo that embodies the kind of chemistry fans love to claim as proof of destiny. Which is exactly why the phrase eternal love revealed has sent curiosity into overdrive. Is it a secret finally brought to light? A title? A promise? A hint? To make sense of it, we need to rewind the reel and study the patterns. Gökberk is famously careful with his private life, choosing to let his work do the talking. Yet that discretion only intensifies the attention when a whisper rises above the usual hum. When romances in this industry surface, they often bloom from long days on set, from shared scripts that feel like shared heartbeats, and sometimes from accidental glints captured in photos that don't realize they're saying everything. We've seen co-stars step into real life together, we've seen rumors come and go like seasons. With Gökberk and Cemre, the fascination has always been about how perfectly their rhythms match, how the sweet looks and offhand jokes linger after the director calls cut. It's natural for viewers to ask whether their connection lives off-screen too. Eternal love revealed sounds like a proclamation, a truth that's no longer hidden. It could be personal. It could be narrative. It could be both, wrapped around each other the way a role sometimes wraps around an actor's real heartbeat. Gökberk has the reputation of building his characters from the inside out. He's methodical, aware, rigorous about emotional authenticity. When he locks into a theme, he tends to live there for a while. So maybe this phrase is the heartbeat of a new lead, something that asks him to stretch beyond his limits and touch the unbreakable. And if Cemre is part of the project, if her presence shapes the story's center, then the idea of eternity might be the canvas both of them have chosen. But when a headline sounds this absolute, fans instinctively reach for a more intimate interpretation. Could this be the reveal of a lasting love, a feeling that has outlived doubts and deadlines? For months, sharp-eyed followers have dissected every detail, a glance that lasts one beat too long, a caption that mirrors another caption, a travel shot that seems to trace the same stretch of sunset. People notice when interviews tighten around certain topics. They notice when a question makes them both smile in that quiet, careful way. And in the world of Turkish celebrity, even a shared playlist can fuel a wildfire of theories. If we accept that the phrase hints at a personal truth, then it points squarely toward the bond between Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre, two public figures whose interactions have generated warmth without spectacle, intimacy without oversharing. Followers want to know if the text is now matching the subtext they've sensed for ages. Still, love isn't only romance. It can be commitment to family, loyalty to friends who feel like home, devotion to craft, or a cause that lights up one's purpose. Gökberk has frequently been praised for his discipline and care. The people who work with him speak of his reliability and intensity. Cemre, in turn, is known for a bright focus and a thoughtful way of showing up on set, in conversations, and for the stories she champions. Perhaps Eternal Love Revealed celebrates a deeper vow, the enduring love they each carry for their work, or a creative partnership that refuses to fade when the project wraps. Maybe it honors the kind of trust that outlasts timing and trend cycles. A revelation doesn't have to be loud to be true, sometimes it's a simple acknowledgement of what's guided their steps from the start. We can't ignore the narrative power of a good campaign either. A phrase like that has the perfect ring for a teaser: bold, elegant, a little dangerous. Imagine a series that plays with time, a film where devotion is tested across loss and distance, where the lovers anchor each other beyond the rules of reality. The title alone could promise a journey through memories and second chances, the kind of emotional storm that audiences crave. And if Gökberk and Cemre are front and center, we're looking at a screen pairing capable of selling the impossible, that love doesn't just survive, it expands, deepens, and alters the air we breathe. If this is a project, brace for a performance that leaves fingerprints on your heart. To parse the clues, let's scan the near past. Have you noticed their recent posts? A few shared aesthetics, an overlap of places and moods, a consistent theme of gratitude. Short interviews where the words are careful but the eyes say more, the kind where the tone softens at the mention of growth, of constancy, of choosing something that lasts. Sometimes the telling detail isn't a photo together but a reference that aligns, a quote that seems to nest in the same idea. If old behind-the-scenes shots resurface with contemplative captions, that might be the breadcrumb trail. If a production slate keeps popping up with hush-hush energy around it, that could be the fuse leading to a long-awaited reveal. When the smoke around a rumor becomes a pattern, people don't just imagine, they start to connect. Then there's the media's framing. Notice how different outlets color the same phrase. If the tabloids splash it across headlines with exclamation points, the implication leans romantic. If reputable magazines treat it as a thematic exploration, the lens turns toward a project. Both readings feed the conversation and shape expectation. When the story involves a duo like Gökberk and Cemre, audiences come predisposed to believe in sparks. The slightest context shift tips the scale, a serious photoshoot suggests narrative depth, a casual cafe sighting triggers relationship buzz. This is the dance of modern fame, where meaning morphs as quickly as it's shared, yet the core fascination remains unchanged. Let's not forget how the phrase itself plays with time. Eternity isn't a number, it's a feeling, a promise inside a promise. It's when a look lasts long enough to make a moment feel larger than itself, when the sound of someone's laugh starts to feel like home. If Eternal Love Revealed sits beside the names Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, it's because the public senses scale. Maybe this love, whatever form it takes, has survived distance, busy schedules, and the high stakes of visibility. Maybe it's the creative trust that allows them to risk more on screen, to push a scene past safety and into honesty. Or maybe it's the kind of personal devotion that doesn't need a grand gesture to prove it exists. Eternity can be quiet. Eternity can be two people choosing each other again and again. What makes this moment powerful is how it nudges us to look at our own beliefs. What do we think love looks like when the lights are off and the edits are done? Is it built in silence or declared with fireworks? Gökberk and Cemre have always given just enough for fans to see their glow without turning their lives into a spectacle. That balance is rare. It leaves room for interpretation, which is why a phrase like this strikes like a bell. It sounds like truth because it leaves space for the listener's heart to expand. In recent days, a few small signs have added kindling to the fire. A single word caption that reads like a vow. A shared frame where the body language is easy, like they've been speaking a language only they understand. No oversharing, no heavy-handed hints, just a steady hum. To those invested, it reads like foreshadowing. To skeptics, it looks like clever timing. To both sides, it's irresistible. And that is the sweet spot of a reveal that understands its audience. Of course, if this is the prelude to a premiere, the strategy is flawless. The line between on-screen and off-screen affection gets just blurry enough to excite curiosity. A poster drops. A trailer whispers through glimpses, a touch in the rain, a doorway goodbye, a reunion under a pale morning sky. Their performances don't just carry the narrative, they electrify it. The promise of eternity in fiction becomes the mirror we hold up to the mystery off camera. And once the curtain rises, the debate only grows richer. Are we reading the story or the story beneath the story? Alternatively, the phrase could be Gökberk's personal philosophy finally finding daylight. For someone devoted to process and respect, eternal love might mean honoring the craft that made him who he is, the family that grounded him, the friends who stayed when overnight fame tried to rearrange the furniture of his life. Cemre's presence could be part of that devotion, a partner in the wide sense, a collaborator who helps him tell the truth in motion. To reveal that kind of love isn't to make a spectacle of it, it's to name the compass he follows. What we know for certain is this: any sentence that links eternity to names as compelling as Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda will seize attention. They are captivating not only because of beauty or talent, but because of a sincerity that leaks through even the most polished appearances. And sincerity, when paired with mystery, becomes a story you can't stop listening to. Whether we're days from a personal confirmation, hours from a project announcement, or midstream in a broader confession about values, the moment has weight. As we stand in the hush right before whatever comes next, I keep thinking about how the best reveals make you feel that you already knew. Maybe that's the secret here. Perhaps eternal love revealed is less a surprise and more a gentle unveiling, the kind that feels inevitable once you see it. If it's a romance, it will read as a natural step in a relationship that's been authentic from the start. If it's a project, it will carry the signature of two artists who understand exactly how to translate feeling into story. And if it's a philosophy, it will sound like the line their choices have been writing all along. So, what do you think? When you hear eternal love revealed next to Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, where does your heart go first? Do you see an announcement at sunset, a project that folds time into a single embrace, or a quiet credo about the loves that shape a life? Tell me your reading, your wish, your best guess. I love how this community reads between the lines. Your theories often catch nuances the rest of us miss. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like this video so we know you want more explorations of the moments that have everyone talking. Share it with your friends who follow Gökberk and Cemre, and with anyone who appreciates a good mystery wrapped in feeling. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and ring that bell, because when the reveal finally happens, we'll be here to break it down, patiently, passionately, and with all the context you crave. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next one, where we follow the story wherever it leads, together.